You close the door, you start the car, you pull out of the driveway and disappear down the street. Inside the house, everything goes quiet. Your dog is alone. And for the next 4 hours, something happens that no one expected. Scientists put cameras in a room. They recorded every second, and when the footage came back, it did not show what you think. In 2011, a research team at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences ran one of the most detailed separation studies ever conducted on domestic dogs. 12 dogs, no history of separation problems, 3 conditions, 30 minutes alone, 2 hours alone, 4 hours alone. Cameras running the entire time. The dogs spent 92 to 96% of the total separation lying down, not pacing, not howling, not tearing apart the couch, lying still, silent, for nearly the entire time you were gone. But they were not on your bed. They were not sprawled in a sunbeam. 40% of the time was spent within 2 meters of the front door. Not because they needed to go outside, because that's the last place they saw you. 30 minutes or 4 hours, it did not matter. Same position, same door, same vigil, from the first 5 minutes to the final hour. Your dog does not spend your absence falling apart. They spend it in suspension, holding everything in, parked at the last coordinate where you existed. And you never see it because they're done waiting by the time you turn the key. If you've ever closed the door behind you and wondered what happens next, subscribe right now, because science filmed it, and what they found at Reunion is even harder to hear. Welcome back to Happy Tales. A separate study confirmed the door vigil from a completely different angle. When researchers ran the strange situation test on dogs, the same protocol designed in the 1960s to measure attachment between human infants and their parents, dogs separated from their owner spent significantly more time near the door than when their owner was present. The moment the owner returned, door proximity dropped immediately. To your dog, that door is not an exit, it's the last place you were real. But while they wait, something invisible is happening. Your scent is fading. Alexandra Horowitz, a cognitive ethologist at Barnard College, Columbia University, proposed the most compelling explanation for how dogs experience time during your absence. Your scent concentration in the home peaks the moment you walk out. From that point, it decays. Off your pillow, off your shoes, off the couch where you sat that morning. A dog with an olfactory system up to 100,000 times more sensitive than yours can track that chemical gradient in real time. They're not watching a clock, they're reading a countdown written on everything you've ever touched. And there is evidence it works. In the Swedish study, dogs separated for 2 and 4 hours showed significantly higher physical activity in the last 5 minutes before the owner returned. Before any sound at the door, before any footsteps on the path, the dogs were already rising, as if some invisible timer had reached 0. Your scent does not just tell them you existed, it calms their nervous system at the molecular level. In 2016, researchers studied 28 dogs with separation anxiety. 3 groups, 1 received nothing, 1 received a recording of their owner's voice, 1 received a piece of their owner's worn clothing. Both reduced cortisol, the primary stress hormone, but the worn clothing worked more consistently than the voice. Your scent bypasses cognitive processing entirely. It enters the limbic system directly, hitting the stress regulation pathway without needing to be recognized or interpreted. The most comforting version of you, to your dog's biology, is not your face, it's not your voice, it is the shirt on your bathroom floor. Coming up, the reunion numbers that made researchers go quiet, a discovery proving your dog's stress hormones are locked to yours in real time, and the one thing your dog does when you walk in the door that looks ridiculous but means something that will change how you see them forever. Here's where the science breaks open. In that same Swedish study, researchers measured every behavior in the first 4 minutes after the owner walked back in. After 2 hours compared to 30 minutes, tail wagging frequency tripled. Dog-initiated physical contact tripled. Attentive behavior more than doubled. Every single metric was statistically significant. But owner-initiated contact did not change across any condition. The owners greeted their dogs the same way every time. The entire difference came from the dog's side. They reached for you harder, faster, more urgently. The longer the wait, the stronger the need. That was not trained. That was the body releasing what it had been holding for hours. And here's a finding that inverts everything you think you know. In a 2019 study at Memorial University, the most securely bonded dogs, the ones with the lowest stress markers, initiated the most physical contact at reunion. Not the anxious dogs, the calm ones. Calm at reunion is not indifference. It's the signature of a dog who trusted the entire time that you were coming back and still needed to touch you the moment you did. Now, you've seen your dog do something when you come home that looks absurd. They shake, full body, nose to tail, like they just climbed out of a lake. You've laughed at it 100 times. But in the study, body shaking at reunion was significantly elevated after longer separations. The researchers stated it plainly. Body shaking is an expression of relief after a stressful event. 81% of dogs in the attachment study showed this same shake. It's not excitement. It's not silliness. It's a discharge. Hours of held tension releasing through their body the only way it can. But the finding that stopped me was this. In that same 2019 study, scientists measured cortisol levels in both dogs and their owners during separation and reunion. Dog cortisol at the end of the test was significantly correlated with owner cortisol, a correlation coefficient of 0.62, a p-value of 0.005. Your stress and your dog's stress are not just similar, they're mathematically linked. A 2024 study confirmed that heart rate variability also synchronizes between dog and owner during calm, shared resting states. When your nervous system goes quiet, they tune to each other. You're not just their favorite person, you're their biological baseline. When you leave, you do not walk out of a room, you pull away from a synchronized system that's been building across every single day you've lived together. And wolves never built this. The secure base effect, where your dog uses your presence as a fixed point from which they measure their own courage, has been tested in wolves raised by humans from birth. It does not appear. Wolves do not look back at humans when navigating new spaces. They do not seek humans when frightened. This attachment architecture was not inherited from an ancestor. It was invented by dogs. Over 15,000 years of choosing to live beside you. The Swedish study ends with a line the researchers could not resolve. They could not determine whether dogs were consciously aware of time passing but chose not to show it, or whether the full weight of the absence only became real the moment the owner walked back in. Either your dog counted every minute and held perfectly still for all of them, or the grief only landed when your return reminded them of everything they had been missing. Either way, the body kept score. So tonight, take the shirt you wore today and leave it by the front door. Not the bedroom, not the couch, the door, because now you know exactly where they'll be. Reading your fading scent like a countdown, holding everything inside, waiting for the lock to turn. And when it does, let them shake. That's not your dog being silly. That's every held minute finally letting go. Because you came back, and to them, that's everything. What does your dog do the moment you walk through the door? Tell us in the comments. This has been Happy Tales. If you want to discover more about the dog waiting for you right now, watch this video next. See you there.